So if you're thinking, Heather, I want to buy an RV park this year, you need to get started looking for it now. There are a million different ways to make money in real estate. You literally just need to pick a strategy and stick with it long enough to be successful. So the student housing was not for me. Decide how much money needs to be left over for this to make sense for me. Those things will cause you to not be able to be profitable in a business and can make or break you. Ask me anything. For those of you I haven't met before, my name's Heather Blankenship. I've been investing in real estate for over a decade. I own RV parks, mobile home parks, Section 8 multifamily, and I'm a homeschool mom of 5. Let's dig into it. So first question, Heather, are RV parks a better investment than mobile home parks? Why, and what are the main differences? Okay. Let's talk this through because this is a huge misconception. A lot of people think that they are very similar and that they are the same thing, and they are absolutely not. Even when you go to some of the larger conferences, I was at a real estate conference a couple months ago that had 3,000 people at it, so big conference. I was teaching on RV park investing there, and they have you wear lanyards, and they have these really cute buttons that you can attach to your lanyard, like short-term rental investor, mid-term rental investor, long-term investor. The button for RV parks said RV parks and mobile home parks, and guys, they are not the same thing. Investing in mobile home parks is affordable housing. It is one of the closest real estate investments that you can make besides putting money in someone else's deal that is truly passive. While it is a passive investment, the cash flow is not going to be comparable to RV parks. So let's stay on mobile home parks for a second. Mobile home parks are a really stable investment. Once people move in there, they're usually not leaving because it costs $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to move their home out, and it's literally just mailbox money. The people are renting the spot from you. Typically they're paying their own utilities, they're doing their own maintenance on their property. You're literally just responsible for the ground, the roads, the infrastructure, the utilities under the property. It can be a really good form of passive investing. However, it's not going to be your largest cash flowing investment. So if you are focused on cash flow, not just appreciation, and putting your money somewhere that you're going to get a better return that you might on the stock market or in a savings account, you're going to want to focus more on RV parks. There are tons of different types of RV parks. There are long-term RV parks that function kind of like a mobile home park, that people are there for like a more affordable housing, but that is generally not what I'm talking about when I'm teaching you about RV parks. RV parks are a very active investment, but they do have amazing cash flow. I have one RV park that has more than 10 streams of revenue, y'all. These people are on vacation. This is outdoor hospitality. The people are staying an average of 3 days. They're gonna check in with you, you're gonna be cleaning, you're gonna be providing amenities and activities in this unique experience. A lot of times glamping is included in RV parks. So you're gonna have things like tiny homes and glamping tents and yurts, and maybe you're gonna include some golf cart rentals and a pizza kitchen. It's truly an amazing business backed by real estate that gives you great cash flow. So I would not be considering them as one and the same. They are very, very different. If this is a topic that you're interested in, I actually wrote a book on investing in RV parks where I was published by Bigger Pockets, and I did a video on that. So I'm gonna link it below so that you're able to get some more information on that topic. I'm serious about acquiring an RV park in the next 2 months. Can you help facilitate this or point us in the right direction? Okay, RV parks are not similar to buying a single family home. You're not gonna find an agent that shows you 5 or 6 RV parks that you found on the MLS and you make your offer and in 30 days you're gonna close. RV parks don't work that way. RV parks have so many moving parts that you're gonna have to go through a due diligence process. If you've ever bought a single family home before, you know that the due diligence period or your inspection period, maybe it's 5 days, I've seen some as long as 10 days, but that's pretty long. And maybe you go have an inspector inspect, maybe you get a termite inspection, and after that, you move into your closing period and you can't back out anymore. You're set to close in about 30 days. RV parks have so many moving parts. First of all, you're going to make sure you're looking at tax returns or bank statements. You're going to be verifying that the income they told you that they're taking in is accurate. You're going to need documentation from this to prove that, because you're not buying on a price per square foot like you might a house. You're buying based on their net operating income, so you want to be able to prove that. You're also going to be looking through the expenses that they told you have and verifying and making sure that those are accurate. But in addition to digging through all these documents, you're also going to have potential inspections that you're going to need done on site. Those can include maybe the property has a well and a septic tank. You're going to get both of those inspected. Maybe there's a wastewater treatment plant or a lagoon or some unique source for your sewage. You're going to need inspections on those. Some RV parks need phase 1 studies done. Those types of things take time. So it is very normal to have a 60-day due diligence period, a 60-day inspection period before you go into your closing period on an RV park. If you're thinking, Heather, I want to buy an RV park this year, you need to get started looking for it now. This is not a quick process, especially if you're planning on buying an off-market deal. Now, you can buy an on-market deal and you can definitely plan on closing, say, if you started looking today, closing in 120 days, that would be super realistic. Time to find it, negotiate it, do your due diligence period, go through closing and get your financing in place. But this isn't something that you're gonna be able to do across 2 months if you haven't started looking already. How can I help you with this? I have all kinds of content like you're watching right now. So make sure you've liked and subscribed to my channel if you're trying to figure out how you buy an RV park. Also, I have a mastermind where I teach people to do exactly this. So let me know in the comments if this is something that you need help with. Can you share a good source for people to generally look for deals? Of course, this goes really well with the last question. Like I said, RV parks are not on the MLS, so you're gonna have to get creative. There are RV park specific websites like Campground Connection, Parks and Places, RVParkstore.com, as well as some standard commercial real estate sites like Crexy.com or LoopNet. You're also gonna look for industry specific brokers. It's not your normal residential real estate agent that's working on houses in your area. These are gonna be people who specialize in RV parks. Most of the larger brokerages across the company have a department specifically for this. Companies like Marcus & Millichap, CBRE, Colliers International, and then the other boutique firms. One of my favorites is Other Street. What I would encourage you to do is to look at some of the listings on Crexy or LoopNet and see who the agent is on there. Click on it, get their email address, reach out to the agent and say, hey, I'm a real estate investor and looking to purchase an RV park. Would you please put me on your email list so that I can see the deals that you have available? That way, you're gonna get an email update regularly showing what deals are on the market. Now, if you wanna find off-market deals, that's gonna be a whole different strategy. You can do cold calling, you can do mail outs, you can do door knocking and go meet people at their properties. Not all owners are gonna be on site and not everybody's gonna be willing to talk to you, especially in front of their staff and their customers, so I don't recommend that method. But you can definitely start cold calling and doing mail outs is a whole other avenue to find sellers. It's just gonna take longer than those deals that are on the market. I know you say you didn't like student housing. What happened that made you decide to sell it? I'm considering it for my market, but wondering if I should reconsider. I am so happy to tell you that there are a million different ways to make money in real estate, right? Not everybody has the same goals. Not everybody is gonna make money the same way. There are so many gurus that'll be like, ooh, this is my strategy. You gotta do it this way. You must flip, you must wholesale. Oh my God, you gotta do this type of real estate investing. Y'all, that's not true. There are a million different ways to make money in real estate. You literally just need to pick a strategy and stick with it long enough to be successful. When I first started investing in real estate, I bought an RV park as my first investment. And I did that for 6 years and got really great at it before I started buying other assets. And when I went through that process of deciding what other asset classes I wanted to own, one of the things I bought was student housing. I bought 2 buildings near a really large university. One was 9 beds, one was 8 beds. And I made a huge mistake. I did not verify the leases that they gave me. I only owned RV parks at the time. I didn't realize that I needed to verify those leases. I took their word for it. They gave me copies of the leases. They gave me the deposits that the people had given. But what I didn't know after closing, when I went to call these students who were, because I bought it in the summer, the students were set to move in for the fall a couple weeks later. What I didn't know is that the students had actually backed out of those leases and told the previous owner this. So I had 2 choices. I could sue the previous owner and make him take the property back, or I could try and figure out how to get students in place. Now, one of the things about student housing is if you miss your window for rental, you're totally screwed. You get new students essentially once a year. You could get some when the next semester comes, but essentially you got to get them once a year as they're coming back for the next school year. I didn't know this because I had never bought student housing before. I tried really hard to get new students, but it was a couple weeks before school started, so it just wasn't possible. I ended up renting it out by the room instead of to a group of students that had already decided to live together, and it did not work out. They fought about everything. Their parents were constantly calling me. They would call for a new light bulb to be changed. They would call to have their toilets plunged. It literally was not the asset class for me. I was cash flowing so well in RV parks. I truly believe that when you say yes to something, you say no to something else. And there is an opportunity cost for everything that you do because you only have so much time and you only have so much money. So the student housing was not for me. I sold it the next semester. I broke even and I was totally happy to have learned my lesson with student housing that it wasn't for me. Now, a lot of people buy student housing and they outsource it to a management company. That would have probably been a better idea for me since I wasn't experienced in operating student housing, or I should have verified those leases. So whether you're considering student housing or you're investing in another asset class, lesson learned, make sure you verify those leases each and every single time during your inspection period. I have no experience in investing in RV parks or glamping, but I want to buy this one. I saw one in Florida. What are the criteria to look for? Red flags, profitability? Okay, we don't have time to do an entire session on RV parks, but I'm going to give you 3 really important things to look for. First, planning and zoning. Is the property properly zoned to be operating as an RV park? If so, great, checks it off. The next one is your utilities. Your utilities can literally make or break you in an RV park or glamping resort. Let's say that the property is already in place and the utilities are already there. City water and city sewer is like the Mac Daddy. That's what you want to have. But if it's not city water, city sewer, and it's maybe well and septic, that's okay too. As long as you do inspections on the well and septic during your inspection period and everything's great, or you get a price to fix whatever the problem is and it fits in your budget, that's okay too. But you can run into some things like wastewater treatment plants or lagoons or lift stations that if something goes wrong with one of those, it can literally cost more than the value of your entire property to fix. So I would say having a wastewater treatment plant, a lagoon, or a lift station is a very big red flag that I probably would not move forward with on an RV park. And the third thing is, since this property is in Florida, you want to make sure that the taxes and insurance for that property aren't so expensive that it causes it to be impossible to be profitable. I'll tell you that my insurance in Florida has more than tripled in the last couple years, and my property taxes has doubled. Those things will cause you to not be able to be profitable in a business and can make or break you. What is the minimum number of sites needed to actually make a profit without the owner working at the park? I'm talking on average. Location, of course, makes a huge difference. Okay, you said it there. The location is going to make a huge difference in how much you can charge price per night and what your expenses are like at that property. There could be a property with 50 sites that cash flows like crazy and makes amazing income. And there could be a property with 200 sites that makes the exact same amount of money as that 50 site property. So you're really going to have to dig through the profit and loss statement and determine this for each property. A couple things I'll tell you though. Sometimes you can find, say, a 20 site RV park that has room for expansion that could be in a really amazing property, because you can buy it with those 20 sites active and they're bringing in an income that can pay the holding costs while you develop out the rest of it, and it can become an amazing cash flowing property and a really great asset to your portfolio. But there are other times that you could buy a 100 site park and it doesn't cash flow enough to do that. So you've really got to dig into the numbers and decide how much money needs to be left over for this to make sense for me. And let me give you an example. It needs to make sense by having enough to pay a property manager and to pay you. So you've got to pick what your minimum amount of money is that you're willing to make. Let's say it's $50,000 that it makes sense for you. And maybe if you look on ZipRecruiter or Indeed or LinkedIn and you find that the average, let's say, hotel manager in your area is making $50,000 per year, you're going to make sure that that park then has $100,000 a year left over, because it needs to pay $50,000 to the manager and $50,000 to you for it to make sense. And this is going to be different for each and every park because the cash flow is going to be different. However, I will say, I do like some really small parks. If you found a 20 site RV park in an amazing location and you converted it to a glamping resort with tiny homes or glamping tents, and it was this beautiful, unique experience, you could still cash flow really, really well on that 20 site park that you converted to glamping. It doesn't need to be a super large property if you've operated it correctly. If you found this valuable, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel so that you can see the next one. Also, let me know in the comments what kind of questions I can answer for you on the next episode.